But Chattanooga, man, I feel like that's where we have to start. Um, eh, I mentioned this at the very end of the episode that's dropping tomorrow. I have never seen anything like that. I went to the U.S. Open Cup match between FC Cincinnati and Chicago Fire when they were still in the USL. I went to Birmingham versus Inter Miami when they had 17,000. I've been to Alabama versus Auburn, Alabama versus Tennessee. I've been to big rivalries. I never saw anything like that. Like it was insane to be in the middle of. I don't know what it was like at watching on TV, but there were so many times that I was just staring at what was around me. I forgot to film because I just could not stop just watching the people. The match was what it was, but the people was just pure cinema.
It looked incredible on TV. I can tell you. I can say that much. I did a live broadcast with Walking 90 that night. We had a lot of fun watching that crowd.
When they got to it was a great game overall. Like, you could tell both sides were so invested. But when you got to the penalty kicks, all the fans moving down to that end, the reaction you could see from the Red Wolves supporters, who, I mean, small but mighty. Like, obviously that was probably 11,000 Chattanooga FC fans and a smaller contingent of Red Wolves folks. But yeah, magical moment.
Yeah, and say what you will about, what the USL did or did not do, allegedly. I'm really excited for the players to have experienced something like that. I know a lot of them were just thrilled about playing. Well, I think one of them said on social media afterwards, like, it's just you don't know what it's like to play in a huge game like that matters for something. They loved it. They have nothing to do with the politics behind all of it. They're there to make their whatever they make to play for Chattanooga Red Wolves and CFC. But they took it all in, and I think they really enjoyed it.
I think it's something that's so desperately needed at this level in this competition, because there are so many people who sort of write off the Open Cup, especially, MLS has quite literally written it off for half of the league. And so I think this sort of game is extremely important because it shows just what's at stake for these clubs, and how much, like, even just in this game, yes, it was a place in the next round, but it was so much more than that to both of these squads and to both of these sets of fans. And that is, when you talk about like the magic of the cup, this is the sort of game that you're talking about. Pitting these crosstown rivals against each other, I think, is just like something that US soccer needs more of. And I was very glad to see, this one come out in the draw, and it lived up to the hype as well.
And it was the second highest attended match in Open Cup history of the second round as well, after an aforementioned FC Cincinnati run. So it kind of showed off what Chattanooga soccer was as a spectacle. I recall, like, we've all seen the Don Garber quote, the Don Garber tifo of him taking a shot at Chattanooga, but like, it really showed that this cup means something to a lot of people. Chattanooga's fan support has been phenomenal historically, and it just really was a showcase for the league. And like Phil, that you had mentioned, having these close by derby matches is very important for the Open Cup. And like, even to mention as another one, Portland beating Hartford in this round as well was another example of having a geographic rivalry this early round doing something for a community.
The biggest thing in the conversation immediately after the match was territory riots. Get rid of them. Yes, do that. But I think what I was left with was Chattanooga can support two clubs, right? It was like, man, like, this is truly a two club town. If you go, I don't know how many of y'all have ever been to Chattanooga, but every business has one of their logos on it. And that's not an exaggeration. You'll walk into a business and they'll have a Chattanooga FC flag. You'll go into another business and they'll have the Red Wolves logo on there. You can't go to a single business in that town without seeing one of the logos. It's a real deal, like, two club town. So, like,
well played, Ben.
Thank you, Ben. if you're not someone who is on the YouTube live show, just check out the check out the comments. But it was really interesting because the old idea of you need one club in a city, I think comes from a good place of U.S. soccer hadn't built up enough, but it is now. I think a lot of cities truly can support two clubs, even in a town like Chattanooga, which isn't huge. It was pretty cool to see. Maybe, let more of these clubs into the league if we're still going to be a part of a quote unquote closed league. Just bring them all in, get rid of those territory rights. What about some other, unless y'all want to keep talking about this, is there any other US Open Cup stuff that we want to kind of talk about?
Just El Farolito.
Yeah, El Farolito. I was gonna say Burrito Boys. Yeah.
That was like that. All I'll say about it is, if you watch just the first half, you'd be like, this game ends 11-0 Monterey Bay. Like, it was total domination, like, in the first half from Monterey Bay, and they couldn't put it away. And this is like, it was the, quintessential, the danger of not putting the game away when you're on top, right? And El Farolito suffer extremely well in this game, and then go and do what they do, which is they are extremely dangerous when they get into the late stages of games, and they get some legs. I mean, it's an extremely fit team, and they took advantage of a Monterey Bay side that really should have seen them off in probably the first 20 or 30 minutes.
You think about the second half of this game, El Farolito outshoots Monterey 13-4. Monterey doesn't get a single shot on target. I think that's a credit to the way that El Farolito isn't one of the lower league clubs that bunkers in. Like, they want to play soccer. It's a back four. They're clever with the midfield. Denver Benson is that guy. Like, he's just a killer. I wouldn't be shocked to see him end up with another pro contract once it's all said and done here. I don't know if they'll be able to get past Sacramento, but I'm excited to see them try.
And with El Farolito being the last Open Division team left in the competition, that's $50,000 into their pockets for advancing this far. And for example, $50,000 would buy 15,000 regular tacos from an El Farolito restaurant.
Heck yeah. We never got the question. Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah.
My mic came unplugged. I put the question out there last week, but we didn't really get an answer. Are the burritos even that good? Because everybody says the Burrito Boys, but no one's ever said they're good burritos.
I think it is like a beloved restaurant chain, in addition to the fact that, like,
okay,
they have a sick soccer team too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to put out a hot take that I've put out there before, but I want to get it out there because I'm definitely will put my face behind this. I'm really glad that Union Omaha won, because I am really sick of Des Moines Menace right now, because I understand NCAA rules are what they are, and getting the players that earn the way into the U.S. Open Cup is, really hard. But my goodness, I hate seeing players that are basically just ringers come in and take away opportunities from players who earn their way in. It is fun for Des Moines Menace. It's a fun way to get more eyes on your brand, and in the end, that's kind of what it's about in the lower leagues, especially in League Two. But it really bothers me. It really rubs me the wrong way, and I know it comes down to NCAA rules, but it really rubs me the wrong way.
I just think it's funny that MLS employees knocked out an MLS Next Pro team and then lost to a USL side. Like, that's very funny to me. And there's some kind of soccer wars joke in there somewhere.
And like Sasha Kleshin getting his second yellow from the bench, like, that's art. What more can you say than that? Like, that's why we play the games. I agree with you in principle, but it is very fun in practice, Scalar.
I think it's good. Like, I mean, they do have trouble finding those amateur players this time of year. So, it's good for those players to come in and volunteer as the elder statesmen who don't need any money. Whatever they win, it goes right back into the team to use for the rest of the year. If they would make that far, which they did not, but.
Will Sasha Kljestan be still suspended from his next match if he were to come back for the 2026 edition of the Cup? Just like Clint Dempsey is still suspended for his return to the Open Cup one day.
Yes.
All right. Any other U.S. Open Cup combos?
Shout out Hearts of Pine for beating Hartford doesn't really mean a whole lot at this point in time, but still, that was a great game and a great environment, and you love to see it for them.
And Jake Keegan coming off the bench to score. I love that.
Yeah. Who they have Rhode Island next? Portland does? I think that's right. I don't know. Someone's checking for me. But yeah, that's I cannot wait to get up to Portland because every time I watch one of their U.S. Open Cup matches, it just looks incredible. Ryan, you seem like you have an answer.
They do. They have Rhode Island next at home too.
Nice. What if they just go the entire way at home? just keep drawing all at home. Be great.
They're not even at home yet. It's in that high
Yeah, I
school
was
in
gonna say.
Lewiston. Technically home, but
Kind of home.
they haven't
All
even
right.
opened up their home yet.